So the first thing is when we look at this universe and look at us and look everything around us, we can clearly tell there is something behind the creation, right?
Nature.
Yeah. I mean, nature, when we say nature, what's your understanding of the nature?
It's just the evolution. It's nature.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we don't deny nature,
Yeah, of
but
course not.
but nature doesn't have consciousness, you know. So, in order to create something, yes, it must have the ability to create,
Yeah.
have to have the will to create, right, and have to have the knowledge to create. So, when we, when we evaluate the nature,
You know, the women can make a child.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
something that by nature,
yeah,
all females in the
yeah,
nature can do.
yeah. So, what you are referring is something, a process. Every process has a processor. I'm not talking about the process.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, when a woman bore a baby, when she delivered a baby, until and unless she delivered the baby, she doesn't know what is the color of the baby, how the physical shape is, how tall, how much weight, you know, how the cell are constructed, how much hair in his hair or her
Yeah,
hair.
yeah, yeah.
So that shows if she was the maker in first place, she would have known before delivering the birth.
No, because when you make a cake, you don't know how it's going to taste. You imagine if you already made different cakes, you know, maybe if I put some sugar and some flavor and some different things, I have this cake. So,
But this is not
and I'm
something.
not going to.
Yeah,
I don't know. Sometimes the
yeah,
cake is amazing, and sometimes the cake
yeah,
is sometimes it's
yeah,
flat,
yeah,
impossible to eat.
yeah. But this cake,
Sorry, I don't want to be disrespectful.
no, no, that's
Please,
okay, that's
please.
okay. It's a nice way we can discuss things. So when we realize the example of cake, yeah, let's look at the example of cake. So when you put measurement, let's say, how do you measure it? You have to have a measuring
Yeah.
cups, yes.
Uh-huh.
So you'll have. I'm demonstrating that any process it needs some knowledge.
Yeah.
So when you make the cake, you just don't put randomly. You have a measurement. So you have a will, meaning you have the intention, then you executed it, by applying your knowledge, right? And finally, once you put the right ingredient, you know your measurement. I'm sure you. What cake do you like? Is it like velvet cake, red velvet cake, or
I don't like cakes, but yeah.
by okay? So you have to have a willful agent to make it. So now we demonstrate through your example that even the cake requires a willful agent, an ability, and the knowledge of the cake.
Yeah.
So therefore, when you make the baby, you do not know
No.
those items,
Uh-huh.
right? So that demonstrates that when a woman bore a baby or carry a baby, this is not something she creates, but rather she is a process of it. And this is where we say that either the baby come from randomness, which doesn't exist in the reality. Now, the woman is not the maker of the baby. She is the median and the carrier of the baby. And then by default position is something higher being who is making it. This is why, when the Allah in Islam we believe, Allah said us how to know Him. So Allah said, look at the creation. Allah said, Sanurihim ayatina fil afaqi wa fi anfusihim hatta yatabayyana. Meaning, when you look at the horizon and when you look at yourself, you will just see the sign of God. I'm paraphrasing it. So means when you deeply think, does that come from nothing? Or did it create itself? Or was there a maker, right? Now we have established that everything is pointing towards a maker. Now, if there is a maker, then there must be a purpose, right? And if we do not fulfill our purpose and die, then do we have the capacity to face God? Because there will be a consequence of good and bad in both ways. You see? So that's why Allah, the Creator, established Himself telling that Allah He is one. And He is not a man, He is not a woman, He is unlike the creation. And there is nothing comparable to God. Then He sent prophets and messenger to send the message to guide yourself. You know the things that we don't know. This is what Allah send us the guidance,
Yeah.
so that we can follow His guidance. Otherwise, how do we know that what is the message of God? Exactly.
But sometimes I say I don't need a message from God.
No,
I
but
want it.
but
I don't
if
care.
I mean, this would be I don't care would be if there is no God. Now we have established there is God.
Yeah.
Now, if there is God,
Yeah.
should you care?
But maybe I don't care.
So,
Don't know.
so after knowing God, will you still reject Him, or
Don't know. Don't know. Still thinking about it. I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't decide.
yeah? So maybe think upon it. Go home, take the Quran, read it, because Allah talks to the mind of human being with the Quran, this revelation.
Yeah.
Because a revelation,
So, but for me, a prophet is someone that say, "Oh, I know the word of God. I know what God wants." So he decided to start just
Yeah,
talking.
yeah.
So
how do okay,
How
yeah,
do you know?
yeah.
I don't
So
know if Jesus exists. I don't
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and I
So
don't care.
so basically, in order to establish someone a prophet,
Yeah.
no one can willy-nilly say I'm a prophet. There are some
Sorry,
characteristics.
what is this video for?
These are for educational purpose, so that
Okay.
people can learn from us.
But where where do you post it?
And I'll tell you that name.
Okay.
Yeah. So
No, my
you know,
phone is dead.
yeah. So for educational purpose.
Uh-huh.
So like in order to know who is the right prophet, he must have certain criteria. A person must be truthful. A person must be honest. A person must be great in character.
But it's just a person.
Nah, I'll tell you. And then the person will have some activities that no other human being can produce, meaning something miraculous. So in one side, the acceptability of the person's testimony would be his character, his conduct, his affairs. And then it's not sufficient enough. Then when you see that same person performing some miracle,
Yeah, but I don't believe in miracles.
right. Now there are certain miracles are time-bound miracle, and there are some miracles are timeless. And one of the timeless miracle is the Quran, and you can examine it.
Yeah,
And this is a
want
miracle
to.
itself. And there are challenges in the Quran. Allah said that produce a chapter like it, produce 10 chapter like it, or produce a whole Quran like it, right? Meaning there are certain stylistic, certain construction in the Quran that Allah used it using 29 letters. And Allah is challenging, if you think is a man book, a man who wrote the book, you will be able to produce it. But the reason you cannot imitate the book, or you cannot challenge the book to make a chapter like it, that shows it's not from man, it's from God. So that is an objective challenge. You can look it up, that is this Quran from God? If this is from God, then you already accept the first premise that God exists, and then it link up with the revelation, and then it will follow that what you need to do and what conducts you need to do. All things, I would say one last thing. Also ask God, if you're there, please guide me.
Okay.
Be sincere, and if you're there, guide me. Because Allah said, Allah guide those who are sincerely looking for it. But Allah does not guide the zalimin, the oppressor, the someone who hide the truth, someone who oppress other people. So we have to be true to ourselves. By true to ourselves meaning, when I know the truth, I accept it. Sometimes we become true to others, but we are not true to ourselves. So when we realize something is true, and then we deny, it brings a consequence.
Okay.
So look it up, and you can look it up. This is called Sam Dawah, and this is called Dawah to Soul.
Okay.
So you can watch the
Okay.
clips. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Look after
Thank you.
yourself. Thank
Yeah.
you.